If the board members could make sure you have your microphones on, please.
We're good.
Okay, good evening. The hour being 6:30 PM on Monday, November 25th, 2024. I'd like to call to order the Brookfield Village Board meeting. Would everyone please join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
You beat roll call.
I'm here.
Okay, Richard, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Here.
Trustee Cote?
Here.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Here.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Here.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Here.
And Trustee Hendricks is absent, and President Garvey.
Here. Thank you, Bridget. We have one item up tonight on appointments. At this point, I entertain a motion to appoint Iris Overstreet Strupp to the Brookfield Conservation Commission for a term expiring November 25th, 2027.
So moved. Second.
The motion was made by Trustee Kaluzny, second by Trustee Gilhooley. Any questions or comments on the appointment?
I have several comments. We're really excited to have Iris return to the Conservation Commission. She's been a huge asset, and even when she took some time off the Conservation Commission, she couldn't quite stay away from the commission, helping with education programs and Meet the Creek and all of these things. So excited to have you back and joining the commission in an official capacity again. So thanks for joining.
Any other questions or comments from the board? No, and I too thank you for coming back. I know you never really went away, but we're just making it official, so thank you for agreeing to serve again. Can we have a roll call, please, to make it official?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Could you come up by Bridget and be re-sworn in?
Raise your right hand. I, Iris Overstreet Strupp,
I, Iris Overstreet Strupp,
having been appointed to the office of Conservation Commission
have been appointed to the office of Conservation Commission
in the village of Brookfield,
in the village of Brookfield,
in the county of Coke,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the office of Conservation Commission
the office of Conservation Commission
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Oops, you already had it for me.
She's got it on film.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Congrats.
Okay, we have no further appointments or presentations. At this point, I'll open up the meeting to public comment. Anybody on my right side have any public comment? Seeing none, anybody on my left side have any public comment? Yes, Barb?
Hi, Barbara Down, 4513 Park, and I'd just like to tell everyone that I think the playground equipment was a big hit, because I can hear the kids laughing and singing, and I haven't had a chance to walk over there now that all the fencing around the equipment is down. But I think they're having a good time, and I think it was a good job.
So I shouldn't send the police over there with a noise complaint?
No,
Okay.
no, because the lady that used to complain all the time, she moved a long time ago.
No, we've gotten a lot of positive comments about the park, and we're very proud of it, so thanks for pointing it out.
I love it. Thank you. That was nice.
Anyone else on this side have any public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to reports of special committees. Please, Trustee Cote.
I would like to make a motion to approve corporate warrant dated November 25th, 2024 in the amount of $6,578,270.80.
Second.
The motion was made by Trustee Cote, second by Trustee Kaluzny. Any highlights, Trustee
Yes,
Cote?
absolutely. We should highlight this one out. So out of this 6.5 million, 5.1 million of it comes from projects that we are doing. I want to touch base on those. So if you break those projects out, we have 2.6 million of it are coming from bond series payments. We have the 2015, we had an A and a B, which one was 221,000, one was 338,000, and then we have a 974,000 bond payment for the 2016 bond. I want to touch base on those specifically because those are going to be back next year, and their final payment will be or the last meeting in November of 2026, so the payment's due December 1st, and then those 3 bonds fall off. So come 2026, those 3 bonds will fall off. Also, part of the bond series that had to be paid, 2018 is 798,000, and a 2022, which is 283,000. Aside from that, 2.5 million of this is part of water infrastructure, water and lead. So 1.3 million of this was the water main improvement projects, and then we have 1.2 million of it is a lead water project. Now, the 1.2 million for the lead water project is going to be reimbursed back to the village. So I'm going to touch base on that as part of that project. 152,000 of it, 152,000 in this warrant is part of the park that we just heard about. That was a payment towards the playground equipment there. And then there's a $310,000 grant fund revenue reimbursement. So we had to return $310,000 out of a grant funding. So the sewer project that happened across the street in front of Irish Times going to the Parkway, and a lot of that was covered under state funding and MWRD funding. And since that came in under budget, we had to return the money that was left over from the grant. So that didn't actually come out of village funds. That $310,000 came from the grant that was not used and had to be returned back. And that concludes for that section.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board related to the warrant? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Regards to DPW, our forestry department placed the tree next to the Grosedale Station, which we will see lit up on December 7th. Just as important, DPW was putting up snow fencing in an effort to keep everything safe right around that tree because the creek is right next to it. Our utilities department winterized and prepped the Veterans Fountain for the upcoming winter season. And looks like they did it just in time because we experienced foul weather right after they did that. And thank you to the Streets Division because they came out and they handled the streets quickly and efficiently as soon as the snow came down because it was that 3 inches. We didn't really expect to have a full 3 inches dropping on that day, but they came through, they took care of everything. Thank you to them for doing that. And as always, if you have a problem in town, the best way to pass off information to DPW is through the C-Click Fix program. You can access this via the village website or you can download the app on your phone. In regards to the library is doing a community cookbook to memories of Arthur. Arthur is a former employee who had passed. And in honor of him and his love of food, they're asking community members to share memories of Arthur and favorite recipes to be included in the Arthur's cookbook, Food for the Soul. You can turn in those recipes to the library. I believe there's a link online, so if you go to the library's website, you should be able to find a link online to do that. If you are in need of assistance for food this week, this is Thanksgiving week, the food pantry, Share Food, Share Love, is handing out food for Thanksgiving. So please, if you are in need, please stop by. If you are not in need and wish to contribute to something greater, see if they need help handing out that food. Being Thanksgiving week, I wanted to share something that I am personally thankful for. Recently, there was a fire on my block affecting a family, and our finest, Brookfield Police, Brookfield Fire Department, showed up on scene in the middle of the night, not only bravely handled that fire with flames coming out of it, coming out of the second floor of this home, but they also showed a lot of compassion and help to the family that was having this tragedy occur. I am thankful that I know the men and women of Brookfield Fire Department and Police Department are here watching Brookfield so I can sleep at night. They are heroes, and what I saw that night just confirmed and reaffirmed to me how big heroes they really are. So thank you to the Brookfield Fire Department and the Police Department. I can't say how much I am in awe of you guys. And in line with that, the police chief made sure that we have brochures out here in the library, Lobby, thank you, or the library, in the lobby about fire prevention. It is Thanksgiving season, and this tends to be a time frame when we need to keep that in mind. And last thing for sure is the VFW hosts recruits out of boot camp for the Navy. They host them for Thanksgiving morning every time, and that will start. They're going to host a Thanksgiving, which come by, say thank you to the recruits or thank you to anybody else. They do host Thanksgiving. Starting around 10 o'clock, the recruits should be there around 9:30. They will have a police escort take them around town. The police escort will start on Ogden Avenue by the paint store, come down through town, go around the Veterans Fountain, and then head over to the VFW. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Cote, and your acknowledgement of the fire department is very much appreciated. It's, me and you talked that night, and you saw firsthand from your view down the block what happened, and, you know, we don't always get to see that. We read the reports, but when you see it firsthand, it's something to see, and the family whose house was damaged reached out to me also, and to say thank you, so thank you for acknowledging them. And the VFW, it is great. If you get a chance to stop by, if any of the board members or anyone wants to stop by, it's great to welcome the recruits to Brookfield. They really enjoy the day, and it's kind of become an annual tradition in our family to stop by in the morning and see it. So,
And they're not allowed to have cell phones in boot camp, so we always end up loaning our phones to them so they can call home. And you might not get it back for about an hour or two, but it's totally worth it because you see the smile on their faces. They get to talk to their families and friends back home and wish them a happy Thanksgiving, because it's just not something you get to do while you're in boot camp.
and that's a great point. If any, when I stop by, I'm always happy to hand off my cell phone to someone else. I give them my cell phone and let them make calls while I kind of visit and hang out. And if you have an extra cell phone, they're very good about returning them, where you just put your name or a sticker on the back of it, and the VFW get it back to you. But they are truly like gold for these people to get to call their families. And they're very patiently waiting for someone to be done with your phone so they could take it next. But the more phones that are better, the more people that can reach home. So if you have a spare cell phone, you want to drop it off that morning, I know the VFW will help you get it back even if you can't stay, or while you're there, just let them use it. And they're very nice. If you tell them you got to go, they'll give it back to you, but they are truly gold. That's probably, even the food is great, but the cell phones are the best thing that you can bring. So they used to like the Starbucks, but I heard they can't get them coffee anymore. They can't
It's,
get-
you know, it's a nightmare. That part is quite the nightmare. And then, but we did hook up big screen TVs and Xboxes and PlayStations, so they get to play to their heart's content before they had to go back and run some laps again. So.
All right, thank you, Trustee Cote. Trustee Gilhooley, Chamber of Commerce?
Yes. We have a small event coming up on December 7th with our annual holiday celebration and the Kris Kringle Market. So just want to give a quick rundown of what this includes. So this is a great joint effort between the Village of Brookfield and the Chamber of Commerce. The holiday celebration is Saturday, December 7th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. There are an incredible amount of activities going on. We have complimentary trolley rides. We've actually added some additional stops, some additional trolleys. It's always very popular, so we're kind of trying to add a little bit more there so we can get more people flowing throughout town. The Kris Kringle Market, which started last year, will be on the west side of and in front of Village Hall again this year. That will run from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that'll give them a little time to break down and make sure that everybody who's attending the market can also get over to the Christmas tree lighting at the old train station, the Historical Society there, by 6 p.m. There will be other things like giant inflatable snow globe where you can take your photograph over at S.E. Gross. There will be carolers, holiday music. The S.E. Gross Band is going to play from 2 to 2:30. There's a brochure that you're going to see online on Facebook and on the Chamber website, on the Brookfield website, where you can find all of the different activities. A few other things to note, of course, Santa. Santa is going to do a meet and greet at Irish Times as usual from 2 to 4:30. We're going to have a wood carver from 2 to 5 at the near Grossdale train station as well. The library will be hosting a number of events. There'll be refreshments from Betty Flowers and Gifts, a live petting zoo. The SE Gross is also going to have the gym open, and there'll be lots of activities there for kids from 2 to 5. Iceless skating, inflatables, activities, a lot of stuff. There'll be an ice sculptor at First National Bank of Brookfield, so a lot of local businesses contributing to this event and hosting. Fill My Jar is going to have the holiday characters outside, and you can make your own reindeer food. So lots and lots going on with great support from our local business community. So I hope you come out and join us. I'm just going to touch on one more thing, small business related, then I'm going to let Trustee Ketchmark get into the details about the Brookfield shops at Progress Park that we've had a great team working on, spearheaded by Libby and her team in community development. So we're really excited at the progress happening here, and we've got support from the chamber with Gina and Brian Shernow also helping with that effort to help support new small businesses and trying something really new and exciting here. So I'll let Trustee Ketchmark finish up with that. The last thing I want to say about the holiday celebration that I overlooked is we had a young artist. The mugs last year were introduced at the Kris Kringle Market, the Brookfield Holiday Mug. They were extremely popular, completely sold out, and here is the new one. This was designed by a student at RB. Her name is Marilyn.
I got autographed one.
And autographed. She was at Fill My Jar at the end of last week and did some really nice, it was a great showing there, right, to get signed over at Fill My Jar. So I would say if you want a mug, get your mug while you can. You can buy them at a lot of the different local businesses, Beach Avenue, Fill My Jar, Daisy's. They'll also be sold at the Kris Kringle Market. So it all goes back to the chamber, which does so many wonderful things for the community. And that ends my report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Gilhooley. Trustee Hendricks is not here tonight. Trustee Ketchmark, Administration, Economic Development.
On the Economic Development Commission, we met last Wednesday. There was this discussion and review of the RFP guidelines for the downtown development to now include the property adjacent to the Brookfield Theater, which we have on our agenda in a tiny bit for a formal resolution approving the purchase of that. There was a discussion on 2 PIP grants, one for Irish Times, which passed unanimously with some questions. That's on our agenda for our committee meeting. There was also a PIP grant application for the building we would call Magic Touch Cleaners. That actually was being reviewed, and there were some additions being made to that to include additional work. So that probably won't come to us until the first of the year. The Brookfield shops do continue moving along. The shops, the colors have been picked out. The purchase order has been placed. The base for the shops is set to go in either later this week or early next week. The shops themselves are supposed to be installed by December 6th. So that's a week from Friday. The push for that was to get the buildings, the sheds in place before the winter, and then work can begin on filling them with vendors. But that way, next spring, we're not, waiting for the shops to be installed and waiting for the bases to be done. So there's a lot of work yet to be done, once the sheds are put in place, from the decorating to electric work and all that. But stay tuned, it's going to be a busy winter for that. Also with the holiday celebration, the Grosedale Station will be open from 10 to 4 hours, coordinating with the Kris Kringle Market. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Ketchmark. Trustee Narimatsu, Parks and Recreation.
Yes, so Ms. Dom and Trustee Cote stole my thunder a little bit, but Ellert Park is up and running and looks really great, and I know that a lot of people have been able to visit it already. I think it's the first park I've seen from start to finish from my time as a trustee, and it was really interesting to see how much public engagement there was from the village and the Parks and Rec Department staff and the Parks and Rec commissioners and open houses for the public. So it was really great, and it does represent Brookfield's first fully accessible park, which is exciting. So I just wanted to give a big thank you to village staff and especially the Parks and Rec Department for
their diligent work in getting that done efficiently, and thank all the community for all the time that they, all the input that they had over the last several months, and maybe, I'm not quite sure how long the process was from start to finish, but just really exciting to see. There are day off camps for winter break coming up, so if you need some care from the Parks and Rec Department, please sign up for that. The winter and spring brochure should be coming out soon as well. And then the Community Center feasibility study there's an open house scheduled right now on January 22nd at 6 p.m., so be on the lookout for that, more details to come. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Trustee Kaluzny, Conservation and Beautification.
Yes, the Conservation Commission has not met since our last meeting, and there is an item on the omnibus agenda tonight, which is adjusting the frequency and time of the meetings. And so mainly the commission was looking to change their meeting to an earlier time, to 6 p.m., and the ordinance we're looking at during the omnibus agenda is just making it a little easier to change the time without coming before a board meeting to change the time each time. So looking forward to that. We'll still meet monthly, but they are moving it to 6 p.m. So their next meeting will be December 3rd at 6 p.m. here at Village Hall. And the Beautification Commission has not met since our last meeting either. Their next meeting will be the first Tuesday in January. That ends my report.
Thank you. In terms of the Solid Waste Agency and WCMC have not met since our last meeting. Brookfield Zoo, we continue to work with them on many projects, including, the bike trail and other issues. And the holiday lights have started. I think this past weekend was kind of a first test. There was a event at the zoo, and there was a tournament at RB, but I think things went well and will continue to go well with the communication and the traffic flow. We want them to have big crowds. I think where we've improved is just the communication, scheduling, and the ticketing at the south gate, a reservation requirement, has really helped our traffic flow with the residents. The day of the holiday celebration here in town also coincides with one of their major kickoffs with the holiday lights, so there will be some traffic that day, but I'm confident that the departments will work together and kind of minimize the traffic. So look forward to those fun things. At this point, I'd entertain a motion to pass the omnibus agenda as listed.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by Trustee Cote, second by Trustee Kaluzny. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark? Aye. Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And just to note, as Trustee Kaluzny noted, there was something on there about the change of the Conservation Commission, but there's also, we're canceling the December 23rd Village Board meeting, as we typically try and take that meeting off if possible. If there's a need for a special board meeting, we would call it if needed. And there's also one of our, with the new liquor license, we created the Sip and Shop. Prairie Vintage is having an event November 29th at their shop, and they asked for a liquor license to have a Sip and Shop party event on November 29th, just to highlight those things. Moving on to, we have one item under regular business. I would entertain a motion to pass a resolution to enter into a contract for the purchase of a property at 3717 Grand Boulevard in the amount of $395,000.
So moved.
The motion was made by Trustee Kaluzny, second by Trustee Ketchmark. Tim, can you just maybe explain to the public what we're doing here and how it happened?
Sure. Several months ago, the village board approved a contract to purchase the theater building, which is just to the right on this picture. I think the publicity of that and the public exposure to that transaction raised the attention of the property owner to the immediate west of the, so in this picture, it's the vacant lot as well as the two-flat apartment building. That owner approached the village, wondering if the village would be interested in purchasing that property, both those parcels. In conversations with the village board and with the owner, it did seem to make sense to have an opportunity to perhaps assemble all three of these parcels into one development parcel and really reshape kind of underperforming parcels right now in the middle of the downtown of Brookfield, and potentially include future discussions with the RFP that the village board is going to consider to potentially see all three parcels developed at the same time as part of one comprehensive development and activate the middle of Grand Boulevard in a new and exciting way for the community. So staff negotiated with the owner of the property, and we came to a mutually agreeable price of $395,000, and that is the, both the resolution and the sales contract that's on your agenda this evening, and staff recommends approval of those.
Thank you, Tim. This is a very exciting, and this is why we tabled, we had, staff had been very diligent, brought forward, the request for proposals to talk about what we would do with the theater property, but because of staff's diligence in making this a possibility, we suggested holding off on that so we can deal with, if we were able to acquire it, we now can do the request for proposal, these adjacent properties all together, and maybe make a bigger, better project. So thank you to staff for finding this opportunity and giving the board the option to do this. Do the board members have any questions or comments?
Nope, it's very exciting.
Okay, hearing no further comment, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Managers report, Tim?
Thank you, President Garvey. Just a couple quick items. In anticipation of the holiday, the Thanksgiving holiday this week, village offices will be closed Thursday and Friday in observance of the holidays. So staff, on behalf of staff, I wish everyone a very happy and fun Thanksgiving. It was already mentioned that on December 7th, with the tree lighting ceremony, there will be street closure affecting that day in front of Brookfield Avenue, in front of the Grossdale Station. So the driving public, please be aware that Brookfield Avenue will be closed for the period of when crowds are gathering and the ceremony takes place in front of Grossdale Station, which is now the new location and permanent location, we hope, of the actual tree for the tree lighting ceremony. That is all.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, that ends the items we have on the village board agenda. At 6:57 PM, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the village board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cote, a second by trustee Kaluzny. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We're adjourned at 6:57. We'll go into the committee of the whole meeting in just a few moments.